So hey guys, look, we're just here on the way to the Garment Workers Center, and we have a flyer having multiple questions, and at the time there might be certain questions that people might not feel comfortable, replying to, so we have certain options. It's in Spanish, so it says ¿Cuánto tiempo ha estado trabajando aquí? How much time as a person, worked in a factory? ¿En cuántas fábricas ha trabajado durante su vida? How many factories have you worked out? Have you worked in throughout your life? And some of them, aren't really personal, so I feel like we should get a good outcome, and just really looking forward to making a difference.
Se va a venir al ratito.
Oh, ok. Ok, está bien. Gracias.
Sí, también aquí todo esto, aquí abajo hay un montón de días.
Oh, ok.
Así a lo mejor también hay más ahí aquí.
So, as you guys can see, we just got here. We're really excited because we didn't think they were going to be open. There might be a lot of background noise, so I'm going to try to talk a little louder. It's not that far from our school, and as you guys, can see, it's a really nice, nice day today. But we're just trying to make sure that we can get a good amount of the project done today, and then tomorrow we're really looking forward to going to Eunice's campaign. And yeah, let's just see how this goes down. And now we're just leaving the factory with where the garment center was, but although we couldn't interview nobody, the staff was nice enough to give us flyers of their campaign and walked us through their website for we could have them, try to come to our school to talk to the students about their workers and stuff. So. And we're really looking forward to, just going around, because there was one of the valets at the parking lot that told us apparently there are multiple factories around here. So now she gave us those flyers. We want to, just check, do they know about the center? Are they not aware? And then probably ask them the questions that we have written down, if they feel comfortable answering. So yeah, thank you.
Empiezo con la primera. ¿Cuánto tiempo he estado trabajando aquí? Por 10 años. Y anteriormente pues trabajé en 2 lugares más. Y pues nunca me he lesionado. Y pues no conozco a nadie que haya abandonado la escuela para trabajar. Sentí que mi jefe no apreciaba o reconocía el trabajo. Sí, uno de mis anteriores trabajos. No respetaban ni el lonche, no respetaban el horario. Entonces, por eso lo abandoné. Y pues, la paga, pues, digamos que uno quisiera más, ¿verdad? Pero pues es uno de los lugares que me pagan mejor por lo que yo hago. Y tal vez haya mejores, ¿verdad? Pero pues uno se queda en un lugar y se acostumbra. Sí. Sí.
Gracias.
Gracias, chicos. Que les vaya bien.
Solo te quitan tu tiempo, ¿ves?
Okay.
Sal,
Tajín, sal y limón, por favor. También ¿se ha lastimado cuando está trabajando o no?
Pues es trabajo muy riesgoso, simplemente hay que ponerle responsabilidad. Se dan cuenta que laboramos, por ejemplo, en este caso, pues ocupas herramientas muy importantes.
Pero como personas trataron de lastimarse uno o no.
Pues digo, es responsabilidad la que tienes que tener y cuidado en tu trabajo.
Y también, última pregunta, muchas gracias por la ¿tiene permiso? O,
Sí. Tienes que tener permiso para
Claro que sí,
el carro.
¿ha tenido
Tienes que tener,
dificultades?
le llaman comisarías donde vas a preparar tu fruta.
¿Comisarías?
Ajá, comisarías.
Pero,
Se pagan permiso del carro y por el lugar tienes que tener
¿y cómo le fue? ¿Era difícil o fácil para usted?
pues es difícil porque pues son muchos pagos que tienes que hacer y es poca la ganancia que le sacas de aquí.
Pero qué bueno que lo haga usted, ¿verdad?
Pues no queda de otra, adaptarse y acostumbrarse.
Claro que sí. Muchas gracias.
Sí.
Que tenga buen día.
My name's Eric Kelly. Oh, over here. Yeah, so my name is Eric Kelly, and I'm a videographer and photographer for nonprofits and political campaigns. I just wanted to say, I've worked with a lot of candidates in my life: Bernie Sanders, Ed Markey, AOC. What I see in Aonesis is something I don't think I've seen in many candidates ever. She's one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met, and I believe that her way of connecting to people on a personal level is beyond admirable. So I just think she has a very long future, and I think she's perfect for this community.
So what are the big accomplishments you think that you filmed with the Nessus?
The big accomplishments?
Yeah, like what is big films you had with her? Like, did
With
you
her,
like? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was the launch video. I mean, it's something that we did with really not much of a budget, and we decided that you know, at the beginning you need to generate sort of excitement for people to sort of come into these things and say, hey, like you got to make. I try to make politics cool in a sense, you know, make people feel like, oh wow, like, that's something I want to be a part of, and I think we did that. It was a successful launch, and you know, a lot of people signed up, you know, just because of it, and you know, it brought in some money. So I'd say that's probably the most. That's what I'm most proud of. That's the most successful.
Far.
Yeah, so far. I mean, we're working on another one, so stay tuned.
Yeah, of
Stay
course.
tuned for sure.
My district has lost countless families to skyrocketing rents, lack of affordable housing units, and deep neglect. Our street infrastructure is still broken. Traffic deaths are high, and people who need support have nowhere to go. My name is Eunices Hernandez, and I've lived in CD1 my entire life. I have roots here, from the schools that I went to the people and businesses I still go to every day. I've been fighting for communities at the county and state level, where I co-authored Measure J and passed bills like SB 1110 to start funding youth programs, mental health and substance use support, and job programs for our neighbors. In my career, I've moved hundreds of millions of dollars into community resources with a coalition of elected leaders, community members, and allies. Now, I want to bring that transformational energy home. The incumbent has had 9 long years to do what's right, to fast-track desperately needed local housing and immigration legislation, to deliver city services to residents, and to listen to the people. None of that has happened. I have a record of working with community, developing solutions, tracking down funding, and prioritizing people over profit. We cannot make the same choice again and again and expect things to improve. With only me and the incumbent on the ballot, this election will be decided on June 7th. Let's get it, fam. We got this.
Alright, hello guys. We're right here at the Mrs. Hernandez campaign / fundraiser, and as you can see, she's right there. Pretty nice person, pretty cool. Even invited us to eat or if we wanted anything. But as of right now, she already talked to us. She recognized that, you know, MC's league champs for football, but other than that, it's all good and pretty cool. And right now we're gonna ask her more questions about everything on why she wanted to do this, and she already told us about she was raised here and came to Franklin. And
You ever hear Prager U? You ever hear that?
you're a leader towards justice. We're here to ask you questions and support your campaign, as well as you can support us with our senior project that we have going on right now.
Yeah.
And there's a few questions, you know, since we see that you have lots of things you're trying to improve. What do you think is like the main thing you're planning to do for the street vendors?
So one of the biggest things right now, so at the state level, they're working to pass a law to make it easier to create protections for street vendors, so that street vendors can get licensed, so that we can stop the criminalization of street vendors. So those are the main things that I want to push on at the local level and all levels of government, is ending the criminalization of our communities that are just trying to survive and make money, but also provide them the resources to do the job at the best of their ability.
As public officials, what do you think they could do towards street vendors getting their permit? You know how they have to,
Yeah.
I guess, spend money or all of that?
I think the permits are really expensive. Like people are having to decide whether they're gonna get the permit to sell food or whether they're gonna pay rent or pay their car insurance or even their cell phone bill. And it's just, I don't think that we should have these high fees for permitting. I think that there's a lot that the city can do to subsidize those fees, which means that they don't pay them, but like we pay them as a city, support them. So I think that these kind of fees are barriers for people, again, to access the opportunity of the legal market, you know?
That wraps it up for me, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Christian. Appreciate you. Oscar, sorry, Oscar. Let me correct that. Oscar, I'm sorry, Oscar. Christian.
Yeah. Alright, so my first question I had was, what made you want to start this movement and work on all these things you're focused on?
So let's see. That's a good question. It's in my day job. I started an organization called La Defensa, and that's so that we could go after the judges, because we had been fighting for criminal justice reforms, but the judges were the biggest roadblock to us actually getting people out and reunited with their families. So that's one thing on why we focus on La Defensa and why I do the judicial accountability work, but also, you know, some of my closest loved ones have been in migrant jails, have been in regular jails, and that's why I'm an abolitionist and try to push on this. But for the city council, you know, I'm running because, you know, we've had the same representation for 9 years, and you know, he touted that he got an endorsement early last year from Bernie Sanders, and a lot of people who were white started raising their hands and saying, you know, I'm going to run against it, you know.
So my next question was, what was your first topic you were focused on?
First topic, criminal justice reform, I think, and abolition, because that's what I was most closely to. Like, that's what my bachelor's degree was focused on. Because that's where I felt like I could make a difference because of what I had gone through and experienced. But
my last question was, what is some accomplishments you had during this movement?
say the last part?
During this movement.
The one I'm most proud of is Measure J. So in 2020, I helped co-write a law called Measure J that was on the ballot. So in November 2020, people in LA County got to vote. What it did is I said, 10% of locally generated tax dollars need to go into community investment, which is small businesses, support for small businesses, support for young people, and alternatives to incarceration, such as access to mental health services and drug treatment. And 10% of that money is about $900 million, because we have a huge fund. Anytime you buy something at the liquor store, at the store, McDonald's, anywhere in LA City and LA County, those taxes go to a fund. And what we did is that 10% of that, we wanted to go to these things. And we won. 2.1 million LA County voters said yes. We want to make sure that 10% of our dollars go to young people, small businesses, alternatives to incarceration. And the thing why it's so important is, one, is we did it during a global pandemic. We didn't knock on any doors, and 2 million voters said yes. And in year one, this past year, we got $100 million in our first year of Measure J money. And now we're talking about year two, which is another $100 million. It's the most money that anyone is ever, as we've been able to bring down for access to these type of services. And so I think that's one of the most things I'm proud of, because, you know, we collectively wrote that together. We made sure that the carceral system couldn't access that money. And we actually did the work to implement it, to start bringing money down. Because oftentimes we think about, you know, like we're talking about billions of dollars that was going to build 3,485 new jail cells. And instead we moved some of that jail construction money to create access to services. Oh, heck yeah.
Because we're going to do a presentation, and from there we're, you know, trying to have you come to talk to the students, you know, us seniors, and then also some others that are going through it that are the workers, you know, and it's just a cool thing that could happen to our school social justice at Miguel Contreras.
Yeah, that's so freaking cool.
And would appreciate everything. Thank you for your time, and
Thank
I
you.
think that's
Alright, so today we're gonna be working on a campaign for UNESIS, and we have these things that we're gonna be putting on doors, and for today we're just gonna be knocking on doors. Yes. And do you say?
Well, right now, you know, we're gonna be filming for their filmer that Unisys have. We could probably be at their website or a little intro video, because we're also supporters and we're gonna get more people to support by door knocking today.
Okay. Before they came, we were also talking about how, you know, we're young and we should really be the inspiration. So I'm really looking forward to this, and, you know, hopefully we can really make a difference. And yeah.
Right now, we're campaigning for Unisys and NSA. We're already trying to have those to know that Unisys is trying to support the renters. And this is the baby
Alright, so they recently just told us that we can't post this up anywhere around the school because of district policy. They can't favor one candidate over the other, but we can represent all of them and then tell you guys why, you know, you should vote for UNESIS. But I think right now we're just planning to post it on the SJ Instagram page, and if anything, probably, you know, for SJ News, show everybody that why they should be voting for her. And I mean, this isn't such a hurdle. It is kind of like a little drawback, but I think we should be good.
There could be a change, that's why I'm campaigning for her, and that's pretty much it.
Just sit up.
Alright, so my project is about immigration, how they're not able to do much in the community, and the reason I'm supporting Lisa Hernandez is because she's making it possible for immigrants to do much things like vote and trying to support people that our community that needs the most help.
Oh God, no. Put that phone away right now. Hi everybody, good morning. Can we give a round of applause to this team right here for all the work that they've been doing? I'm so proud because they've been working with us, knocking on doors. We've been having some funny experiences, getting into some buildings and knocking on doors. Awkward ones, but good learning experiences. My name is Eunices Hernandez. I really appreciate y'all for letting me join you all this morning. I was born and raised in Highland Park, and I've lived there for over 30 years. My mom, bought a house over 30 years ago. We're still paying it off, but it's been a struggle to stay there because gentrification has hit our neighborhood incredibly hard. 10% of the Latino population has declined in Highland Park. That's over 4,000 Latinos that have not left mostly because they wanted to, but intentionally, with evictions, with rent increases. I'm running for city council right now, and I'm going into a lot of neighborhoods. In Chinatown, folks are telling us that their rent has increased by over 200%. They're paying $2,400 a month for a unit, like one bedroom apartment building that's broken down and dilapidated, where the covered doors aren't even working anymore, and they're paying $2,400. Like people that look like just like my mom, working in costureria. And she did it because that was what was available to her, but it was not a safe working environment. I remember them, getting hurt many times, them sometimes not getting paid all the hours or getting paid all the items that they made, because oftentimes they got paid by each piece that they made. And so they would get ripped off a lot of the times. And I'm not sure about y'all, but in many migrant mixed income homes, people don't call 911 because they're scared of ICE coming. I've talked to people who ICE have come to invest in the infrastructure to make sure that the street vendors there have access to trash cans. We need to pay community, if they want to plug in, to clean those streets. We could be creating jobs to keep our communities clean. Yet they rather blame community for the trash without understanding that this is an intentional disinvestment in this community. But that's what they're supposed to be doing, making sure our streets are clean. making sure that the trash is picking up, make sure that encampments and people who are experiencing homelessness get access to housing and care. But it's not happening. When you think about rent, when you think about how it's increasing for people, those are things that council members can work on. But not only that, when you think about how laws are made in the city of LA, they're not made in the big room with the 15 council members. They're actually made in small committees. So there's committees for everything. There's committee for homelessness, there's committee for housing, for health. The current representative has been the chair of the housing committee, which means he's been in charge of the housing committee for the last 9 years. When you're in charge of a committee like that, you set the agenda, you decide what policies are discussed, what conversations are had. And while our communities are struggling and owing thousands of dollars in rent, when they're getting evicted at record numbers, the policies that are supposed to be protecting them are supposed to come out of these committees. And they have not. And he's had the power to do that. And so that's why it's critically important that you all plug in, that people get politically engaged to understand, like, no other level of government impacts your life more than the local government. On the Congress level, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of Congress members, and the most impact you'll feel from them is the money, or the money that goes to criminalizing our folks through ICE, right? When you think about at the state level, they do pass laws like around speed limits. They do pass laws around giving the state and the cities more money. But locally, it's like the streets that you walk on, the sidewalks, your rent, the air you breathe, like that, it comes from who your council member is who's representing you. And the last thing I'll say is that people need to understand that the status of our communities are not at the fault of our communities. These are political decisions, and if you all want to see a change in your community, you all have to invest in using your political power. Because a lot of folks cannot vote in our communities, and that's even a political decision, because in New York, migrant communities can vote on local elections. My mom could vote if she was in New York in a local election. Our migrant communities pay so much in taxes, you know? So it's ridiculous that they wouldn't give our communities the power to vote, but that's a political decision. And so I don't know if you want to go to Q&A, but
So are you saying that right now, undocumented immigrants could vote in New York City?
if they have, if they pay taxes and they're in that process of the iTunes, yes, they can vote.
They're like a resident of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So we could do that in LA. We can make undocumented immigrants able
Yes,
to
we
vote
could.
for city elections.
We could do that.
Can you raise your hand if you think that's a good idea? Someone who's undocumented, living in LA. Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah, about that. They don't want to give our migrant communities the power to vote because it's our migrant communities who are struggling the most, who have been left behind the most. So it's important. I really appreciate y'all's time.